Well, here we are at the Oregon Synod office for the first time in a long time. But we're here on this land today because we have been journeying with our story of reparations in the Oregon Synod. Part of that story has been walking with the Reckoning with Racism cohort with Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon and digging in for so many core teams across the state, across denominations, digging into the land genealogy, the story of the land that we worship and work on. And I'm just struck by so many of our colleagues in that journey have been walking with what they thought they knew about their land and discovering just some deep, deep truth about the land that they love and that they've worshiped on for, in some cases, hundreds of years. So, Bishop, I'm wondering if you could share a little bit of your journey.
Thanks. Yeah, it's humbling what we think we know and what we actually know. So we're here at 2800 North Vancouver Ave. And what I knew when I first came to Oregon about this site was that it was across the street from Emmanuel Hospital. Emmanuel Hospital was founded by a Lutheran church, First Emmanuel, in the Pearl District. And I heard someone tell me with sort of a chortle that Emmanuel Hospital is spelled with one M, which really isn't accurate, because the treasurer didn't want to have his hand cramped when he was writing checks. So what I knew was that it was a hospital founded in love by people of faith, and I was happy to be a part of it. And then the more I learned and remembered how packed this land is, I remembered that we reside on the land of the Kalapuya tribes, and it actually is a lot more like visiting a city in Europe where you can see sometimes in archaeological digs the layers, the sediment, the story packed underneath. So, phase 2, I thought I knew about the Kalapuya tribe, or at least the correct name. And then, and only then, did friends reveal to me that this was the heart of a thriving African American community. And there was a lot more to unpack. A friend of mine, Debbie Stromberg, introduced me to a leader of the Emmanuel Displaced Persons Association, and she taught me that, in fact, this was at the hub of a neighborhood where children rode trikes and bikes and shared stories and visited neighbors and loved elders. And so suddenly I'm humbled by what I know, what I don't know, and by some of the hard truths that we're invited to grapple with.
So there was a video that we stumbled upon as part of our land genealogy research here that sort of unveiled some of those archaeological layers, right? The story of the historic Albina neighborhood that's still here and not here at the same time. And we are standing in that tension. You might be able to hear there's like a yard party going on behind us. I'm just curious, when you first heard the voices of those neighbors, what sort of feelings came up for you? And what was your kind of body and gut response to that video that we're about to share?
There's a lot of sadness and grief and awareness that a building can be founded in love and founded in hope, and yet also have sadness and injustice at its foundation. And so I think I walk with humility, curiosity, sorrow, anger, and yet hope that we're engaging in this conversation.
Engaging in a conversation that hopefully is more than just talking, right? Would you mind, Bishop Laurie, letting us know how you spent your Holy Saturday this year? Because I'm so proud to know that you spent it walking. And I just feel like continuing that walk may be the next steps in our courageous journey.
And it's a reminder that the word synod means walking together on the road together. So thanks to my relationship with some of the leaders in that community, I was invited to be a part of a walk through this neighborhood led by people who are displaced persons with actual stories of the neighborhood. And so I listened to them tell stories of the old Wonder Bread factory and the outlet store, and how the owner of that store loved children, and so he was often willing to share bread and snacks when they would walk home after school. I learned how surprised people were when their parents mostly received envelopes on their doorsteps saying your house, which they loved and considered well maintained and cared for, was declared blight, and they were offered what they had received 15, 20 years before in payment. No options were given them. And I heard stories of broken promises, both by the city and by the hospital, which I so have respected and work with. So it was very much a Holy Saturday. It was a descent into sorrow and truth. And I'm hopeful that the more we companion with people who know the stories, the more we listen with openness, the more we can find our way out of the Holy Saturday. But my feeling is, as bishop, I'm invited to dwell there and for a very long time. So grateful to be on the journey and listening with humility and hope.